Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Decks of the Weekend, where every Monday I go over some of the most interesting lists that won or did very well in the weekend in the either the online events or the paper events. This weekend there was the Energy series, which is shaping up to be quite an important series for the world panorama. It's based in the United States, but very similarly to what the Star City Game Series was doing, is now having over 400 people for their big events, and as well as having a system. So that's very cool. That's very cool, and I look forward to see more of their results. Although the list I'm taking of for Modern is from Doomswitch. He's a very popular MTGO player from Portugal that won last week with Blue Red Murktide and won again this Sunday with Blue Red Murktide. Although this isn't a stock list. There's a big difference here. There's something that's missing, and that is Dragon's Rage Channeler. So what Doomswitch did was he took a Apache list, and he's the Spanish player who top 8'd on Saturday without Dragon's Rage Channeler. He added a Dress Down Main, which is a card that he also had last week, fourth Bolt, a fourth Shredder, and a fourth Archmage Charm, cutting the 4 Channeler. When I made the Cyber Guide for Blue Red Murktide that I posted on CFB Pro, I was cutting 4 Dragon's Rage Channeler often. I was cutting 4 of them in the mirror match. I was cutting 4 of them on the draw against Ran 6 deck. I was cutting 2 of them on the play against Ran 6 deck, 2 of them against Grex's Shadow. So I was definitely cutting Channeler a lot. I realized that the card got weaker with the printing of Unlicensed Hearse, and the card is so popular that very often you find yourself with just a 1/1 that surveils one. It's pretty impossible to get to the living room if the hearse sticks in play, especially since this deck doesn't have Cooligan's Command to kill the hearse profitably, and we don't want to play Prismari, Commandor, or Brave. Those cards aren't great, so you just kind of leave with the hearse and gain card advantage with your Charm, with your Shredder, and then sneak in a Murktide here and there, and things like that. So yeah, basically the big changes of course, to the most popular deck in Modern for color, Murktide Regent is the absence of this card, which will make you better against 4 color, since Shredder and Charm are definitely cards that are better than the Channeler against 4 color. 4 color dominating the Energy series with 2 in the finals. Still not unanimous what's the best way to build 4 color, whether it is Elemental, whether it is Expressive Iteration Counterspell, someone plays Dress Down, someone plays Brought Back. I play Vivian Combo. I think Vivian Combo is good. Nassif plays Tameshi Bloom. So there's a lot of ways you can build your own net decks, and I think still up to the world to decide what the best version of 4-color Omnet be. But I like this look of Blue Red Murktide. This is definitely the deck list that I'll try for my Sunday Murktide video. Let's go over on to Pioneer, where I am highlighting for you today a very just basic deck, I want to say. It's green-red ramp, and it won the Pioneer Challenge. Actual first place on Saturday by Mazinda Linda. She's a Brazilian player who qualified for Mox a couple of seasons ago, and she got all the way up with, just Abhor Grazer, Sylvan Caryatid, Cultivate, Nissa Pilgrimage. So your 1 and 3 drop slot that just ramp through the Cavalier of Thorns, the Drugglord Atarka, Titan of Industry, Wordbreaker, Eugene, and also Emrakul the Promise End. The deck has 25 lands with the Shrine of Forsaken Gods that will give you 2 colorless mana for 2 mana for colorless spell. That means Ugin, Worldbreaker, and Emrakul. New deck. Pioneer did get the bans recently of Expressive Iteration and Winota, of course. The showcase on Sunday saw Mono Green Niktos winning the event in the hands of Area MTG, the person I listen to podcasts to. I'm subscribed to their podcast, Midweek Metagame, and Harry got there with mono green, blue white control in the finals. There's more mono green, mono blue spirits. The metagame very much just decks that we knew about. Whereas this deck won the challenge, so that's the deck that I feature for the Pioneer decks of the weekend. I think that Pioneer is still very up to explore. I do think the mono green, that was my initial reaction. I saw the bans. I'm like, wow, mono green was one of the best decks before, and they banned the two worst matchup. The Izzet control. Izzet prowess and Winota. So I'm like, well, mono green is gonna be dominating. So we'll see. We'll see. Format still up to grabs, of course. It's gonna be the paper. I meant to say the paper formats of choice for many of the qualifier. So yeah, still to be learned. A lot to be learned of. Another format I'm gonna choose today is the popper one. I played a popper challenge on Saturday. A bunch of friends. I played blue white familiar. Went 3-3 with it. It's alright. This deck is cool. I'll maybe play it one day for the channel as well. But the deck that I wanted to show to you today is this Elves deck that top 4 the challenge on Saturday. It's playing You Meet in a Tavern. So this card is uncommon, as you can see. But it was recently downshifted from Commander Legends, in the new Commander Legends sets that came out last weekend, from uncommon to common. So you can now play it in Pauper. You Meet in a Tavern says, choose one. You either +2/+2 to your team, or you lead the Stampede. So you reveal top 5 and you put all the creatures to your hand. So it's an additional card effect that you have from Lead the Stampede and Distant Melody. So you have 10 ways now of just drawing extra cards. This deck also plays Witty Roastmaster, which combos pretty good with Lisa Lana Huntmaster. As what you do is you have Lisa Lana in play an elf, get 2 damage, deal 2 damage with Witty Roastmaster. The deck isn't just that. You don't only have elves and do the thing. It also has an additional thing that I honestly have never seen before in Pauper Elves. Elvish Guidance. 3 mana enchant land, and the land gives mana. Whenever enchant land is tapped, its controller adds green for each elf on the battlefield. So this will just be a wild growth that can even go bigger than that. And you even have 4 copies of Arbor Elf to untap it and make more mana. That's quite interesting. I'm not sure if it's the best way to build your Elves deck, but definitely interesting. You see all these red and blue cards, but yet the mana base is 13 forests. That's because we play with Birchlow Ranger and we play with Jasper Ascent. In the side there's Spider's Silk Armor. This is for the blue-black Fairies deck. You have 6 Hydroblast and Blue Elemental Blast. That's for the, what's it called? Clarkland Shaman. And of course, Fiery Candidate. And then Well-Wisher. You gain 1 elf for each elf on the battlefield, 1 life for each elf on the battlefield, and that's a lot of life that you gain. So, Elves, it's a deck out there in the metagame. I think that it will probably struggle against Affinity, especially with the version that play Clarkland Shaman in the main deck. But it's good to see, a card that already just made some shake-up. Because Pauper is very famous for just be a format that receives shakes-up all the time with the new set, whenever the new set come out. And Commander Legends 2 is already doing that with You Meet in a Tavern over here. And that will be it for this week. No arena content. I don't think happened. I don't think many big events happened. I have seen a standard GG tour, but I am really just right now out of the arena world. Maybe one day I'll be back, but for now I just really like the paper magic, the real magic for me. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you every day on the channel, every week on Monday with the decks of the metagame, the decks of the weekend. Goodbye.